All right, guys, we are back, and we have joined in on Vicious Syndicate's own trip against Morocco, I think. Morocco? I don't know. But I am joined once again by the bevial beauty of Vicious Syndicate,
Oh,
the always
goodness.
lovely Cora.
Glad to be here, especially since apparently I'm getting a lot of flattery. That helps. I appreciate it.
They say it's the quickest way to a woman's heart is through flattery. So we've got Druid for I'm going to call him Meru, just to simplify things. We've got
That's fine.
Druid for Meru, and looks like we've got a Demon Lock for
Trip.
Trip. So we're actually not entirely sure which game we're entering in on. Hopefully it's the first one. We just randomly grabbed them. So it
Yeah, we can ask Trip and find out for you guys.
looks like right now Emperor Thorson's down for the Druid, which is going to be killed off by this Dark Bomb, but he's already had the Emperor value. He's got his Savage Roar drop down. So that could always be huge. And if we can get our admin to move slightly to the right with the mouse, so that way there we're not blocking.
There we go. Okay, gonna slam Rag for an easy 8 to face. Trip's got a huge hand, but I mean, if
Ooh, no
the
rag.
opponent whose name I can't see but starts with an M can sort of
I
get
think
some board on him.
it's spelled Maruku 0.
Maruku?
So I'm just going with Maru.
That works.
So we've got
Play it
Maru
safe.
drop the Ancient of Lore, has another Ancient of Lore, but now it looks like is going to Force Nature and Savage Roar, double Savage Roar to win it.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Boom. And that is
Ooh.
the value of Emperor Thorson right there.
Yeah. Just crazy, crazy combos you can pull off in Druid if you've got big hand with the right cards.
And
What was Trip at, like 23, I think it was?
I think so. I think it was either
Yeah,
23 or 24, and just literally got obliterated. One
Yeah.
turn. Boom.
I
But
guarantee he didn't see it coming.
that's the disadvantage too of Demon Lock is you're tapping almost every turn. You're trying to reel in every turn to see how close you can get deeper into your deck. And unless you get out Mal'Ganis against a Druid, you are always that one card away from being taken right out.
Yeah. Your hero power is killing you even faster just because they're waiting for you to get to that magic 14, or I guess in this case, that magic 22, which it's so hard not to get down that low, especially when you're tapping every turn.
And he had just used a heal bot, so he must have felt pretty comfortable about things.
Yeah.
But wow, I've played. Okay. And we just got word from our admin that one of the players wound up getting DC'd for a second, so we'll wait on that to come back up. But
Yeah, we should be back in pretty quickly, I would think.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably going to pop back on in any second. But I'm never going to sit there thinking to myself, okay, when I'm at 22 or 24 health, oh, I'm ready to, I better make sure I'm watching out for, the 8 cost Force of Nature, Savage Roar, bang, I'm dead.
Yeah, I mean it's always something that's sort of in the back of your mind, but it's so. I mean, there are 30 cards in your deck. The odds of you getting all of those cards and then having them all be brought down by Thaurissan to kill you from such a high amount of health, it's something you can't play around. Otherwise, you're just going to end up being too defensive and losing. So it's almost this catch-22. Like, you want to play around it, you don't want to die. You know it's a possibility, but at the same time, you can't because you're just going to lose anyway.
And the unfortunate part to that is that was actually game 5. So
oh, was it?
Unfortunately, Trip just went down 3-2 in that.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, that is a very rough way to end game 5. So,
yeah, well, Maru's probably on top of the world right now, and I guess we're going to see him advancing to the top 8, I believe.
Yes, let me take a quick look at the brackets.
Yeah, I know LB got a bye. I don't believe Trip did, though.
No, Trip did not. So we are down to, yes, that brings him into the final 8.
Okay.
Where they will play either the winner of the Daddy Daddy, and MP, the winner
Okay.
of that. And we just got word the actual life total that he was at the time was 28. He was at 28 life.
Oh my goodness. You can't. Okay, so wait. So it was 6, 12, 18, 7 on the lore, and 4 for face. So 20. He had 29 damage. Who's gonna heal up when they're at 28 health? It's not something you can do. Yeah, that's just. I mean,
That's
it's a
just
rough
a
way to go
rough
down, but
break.
it's unavoidable.
Yeah, I mean, to get that exact combination of cards is, you try to play around so many things. He even had Mal'Ganis in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not sitting there worrying at 28 of dropping, oh, okay, well, let me play around the 29 damage. Like,
No, absolutely not.
I mean, great for Maru to pull that out,
Yeah,
rough
I mean
on
that's
Trip
not
to
something you
lose,
do in a
but
game.
great for Trip to make it this far. I got to give him all the credit in the world. He made it to the top 16.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. I mean, and it definitely illustrates just the complete power of the combo druid and how, I mean, you can just be dead at any minute and not have any way to react to it, and it is just so strong.
Absolutely. So right now, folks, we are just waiting to start some other games. So in this meantime, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with some more games in the top 16, and then on to all the way to the winner. So we will be right back.
Just can't take we are on
All right, and we are back, folks, and once again joined by the vivacious Cora.
Thank you. Get a new adjective every time.
Absolutely, I try to keep things fresh and new. So
No,
we
you're
are
doing a great
joining
job.
on BS's own LBYS, who is going to be facing against Axtius. And we actually jump right in the middle of the game, and it looks like we've got a muster for battle that's been quartermastered, and the rogue of Axtius against the paladin of LBYS.
Yeah, looks like a great start for LB. I know we've got a flurry in Axtius's hand, but without a big weapon, that's not gonna do too much.
And they just flurried with no weapon. Interesting. Wait, how
Hmm.
did he just
Did
do
he have a
3
weapon?
damage? Apparently that he did 3 damage. He had a 3 damage weapon apparently, and it
Oh.
just didn't show us on the spectator. I
Hmm.
know that's a bug that we've had in the spectator mode before, is they not have the weapon when you join in mid game. So apparently we
Okay.
just missed that.
Well, then that was a great clear for Axius, and he established some board with the Violet Teacher.
Um, and actually that sprint draw is going to be great for next turn for him because it'll help refill his hand up. And LB right now doesn't have a lot in the way of answers.
Hmm.
Um,
But he does have the anti-Keel bot, which will come in very handy later.
yes, he does, and that Sludge Belcher because he just used a sap on a Knife Juggler, which I very much disagree with. I do not like using a sap on a Knife
Mhm.
Juggler. I think it is
No,
an
not at all.
extreme waste.
And that mustard draw is going to be really good with the Sap Knife Juggler.
I think Axios may have just put themselves in a really, really bad position, depending on what this sprint draws. Because that I can't see anything else from that row coming down on turn 7 besides a sprint with one card in hand.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Now, LB has a lot of decision. He can drop the Pilot of Sky Golem and stay mana efficient.
Hmm.
Consecration here, okay.
I think that's good. It'll help him. He can clear up the Violet Teacher with the Aldor, and then
Oh, that
see,
is
that's
a
great.
bad draw for Axius. You do not want to see that Ancient Watcher.
That's
Unless this sprint
very
draws a
smart.
Wailing Soul right now. Wailing Soul Rogue coming to a meta near you. Oh, Backstab's actually a really good draw.
Yes, definitely. See, that's what you want to see against a Knife Juggler, a backstab, not a sap. But I guess you work with what you got. Oh, is Sarah?
That's an interesting add to a Paladin deck. I don't see Ysera in Paladin too much. I see it in Priest, I see it in
Hmm.
Control Warrior, occasionally in a Tempo Mage or a
Yeah.
Fatigue Mage, but
But even there, it's like interesting tech. It's not really solid in anything. But the Golem's probably going to get sapped, which means the Acera will be able to slam down with really no punishment. All right, so he's dropping the Lotheb, and yeah, he's sapping the Golem.
I like the sap on the Golem. You're not going to sap back an Outdoor Peacekeeper.
Yeah, oh,
That's just
absolutely
not going
not.
to happen.
And you can't really predict,
Ooh,
Ysera from your Paladin opponent. Coghammer is interesting.
Coghammer is a good one, especially if it goes on that Sky Golem.
Hmm.
But turn 9, I think, barring a huge deal from the Rogue here, I think turn 9 is Ysera. Especially if
Yeah,
you can
I
draw
agree.
Ysera Awakens. I mean, you're talking 5 straight damage.
That is actually pretty darn good coming out of the Golem,
Oh,
just
wow.
because it's got uh, you can't use spells against it, which is pretty much the rogue's best way of removal. So that could actually be pretty annoying.
Defius Ringleader. Wow.
Maybe it's a little more tempo geared.
Maybe. I actually like it. I mean, you're getting 2 minions out there right off the bat, and maybe you're just looking to spam out minions. You know, you've got the
Mm,
Violet Teacher, you've got the Defias Ringleader. I think it could be something good. I don't think you're using Coghammer here as LB. I still think you, Sarah.
yeah, just because He's already used both saps. It's pretty much guaranteed it's gonna. Well, I guess with Eviscerate, he could get rid of it pretty easily. But I mean, if you get Ysera Awakens or something like that, that's just instant board clear against the rogue. They've got nothing with more than 5 health.
Or at 21, are you worried? You always have to be worried sitting at a low 20 that a rogue might tinker, and boom. And we see in the rogue's hand he's got 6 damage off of tinkers, and then he's got another 5 right now off of Eviscerate. So he's got 11 right there to go along with the 9 on board. So you're talking he's got 20 damage right there. And that's assuming he doesn't draw into anything else.
Yeah. So I guess if you're LB, you're thinking, am I dead? In which case, Healbot or Belcher, or do I think he doesn't have it? Do I want to play a Sarah? But I think against rogues, they pretty much, I just assume they always have it. I mean, honestly.
I was going to say, you always have to play around it. I think I would have liked to have seen LB kill off one of the
1/1s
apprentices.
Although, Axtius is that 6 health I'm seeing? It's a little small on the screen.
Yes, it is. It's 6 health. So he's trying to put in for a lethal right now on board. But as we can see in Axius's hand, he can clear this off, and he got a Laughing Sister from Ysera. Not exactly what you're looking for. But once again, it's still pretty good because it can't be affected by spells.
Yeah, but if you're pushing for damage anyway, wouldn't it be almost better to play the Healbot and the Cogmaster, go in for that extra 2, and then make sure you're not dying the next turn?
I like that. Or you could have even done a Juggler, Muster, and Coghammer.
Yeah, that's true.
So, well, it looks like LB still wound up getting the win with the Coghammer, and
the Ysera.
That would have been probably an extremely difficult taunt to get through. Is lovely 412 Ysera just sitting there staring you in the face saying, "Hit me, hit me."
That's not something you want to have to hit. But I mean, rogues, if they don't have sap, they don't have silence. So yeah, that was definitely a close game, but a good win for LB.
Absolutely.
But that does mean he's going to be seeing Axius's rogue again, and it seemed. It had some cool tech. I liked the Defias, but it definitely seemed like a good oil rogue. So I think that'll be some good games with that rogue again.
Yeah, I think the rogue always has potential to win.
Definitely, yeah. I guess we're waiting until they go into. Yeah. Was that the first game? Do you know?
I believe so. They both had just recently added us, so I think that was the first game. LB also has a mage and also is running a
druid, I believe.
Yes, druid was the other one.
Yes.
So I can't remember exactly the other 2 classes for Axtius.
Axtius also has a warrior and a warlock.
Okay, so you know that the paladin's out of the way, so you know you're either seeing druid or you're seeing a mage. You don't know which type of mage. We fortunately have the wherewithal to know that it's a freeze mage. So
well, there you go.
I think as LB, you're going to queue up your freeze mage right now. Because you want to try to spring it before it's down to just that warrior, because that is probably, I'd give it an 80-20 matchup on you're going to lose. If it's the traditional control warrior, we don't know if it's the new Grim Patron, everybody get in here, spam 1,700 Grim Patrons across the board type. So hopefully we will be starting up with those 2 here soon, and we can get...
Yep, looks like it's going to be the freeze mage versus the rogue, yeah.
I like it. I think it's probably the best call by LB, because he doesn't know that he knows that there's a warrior, so I think he wants to try to get
that win.
Mage.
Yeah, although it was it Orange that got the win with the freeze mage against the warrior at Seed Story?
I believe so.
I believe it was. So I mean, it can happen. It's rare.
You've got to get some good rolls. You need to have Alex Straza come down on 9, and you need to have Archmage do some serious work.
Yeah. But 20% of the time it's rare, but you do see it occasionally. So,
And
you never know.
I like the ice block coming down here as opposed to ice barrier. You're not going to see a lot of like direct damage from a rogue. They like to use things like flurry, and they like to use. We see 2 sharp sword oils already in the hand and blood mage Thalnos.
Yeah,
So
that's a
that's
lot
a
of damage
lot
potential.
of damage. And LB right
Definitely.
now has double flame strike, which isn't really great right now. You're sitting on turn 5 with 2 flame strikes and Antonitis in hand. You can drop Acolyte and Ping,
Hmm.
so at least you can get a draw. And I think that's probably the best play right now for him.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a heavier version of the freeze mage. I feel like double blizzard is always a staple. I don't know that everything is running 2 flame strikes with every freeze mage.
I
So
know some have teched back in double flame strikes, but usually I only see one. In my particular freeze mage, I only use 1 flame strike. I use loot hoarder and explosive sheep with it.
occasionally even you see a heal bot. So I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, I mean, you've definitely got your staple cards, but there are some sort of cool text that you can do with the deck, which I personally really like.
And now LB's staring down with, and that I like the draw on the Acolyte first to see what you can get
Hmm.
picked up. Now, you'd love to have a Blizzard right here.
But unfortunately, he does not. Although, I mean, Flame Strike next turn could hit
But you're
quite a
staring
few
down
things.
10 damage on
Yeah.
board as well as 4 on the weapon, so you're not feeling real safe and secure with the warm fuzzies that your block is not about to be popped next turn.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you got to play barrier here and probably drop your other Acolyte down. Barrier and Thalnos. Huh. Maybe he's just looking for the card draw off of Thalnos or trying to draw him to actually attack his Thalnos as a
Yeah,
target. But I
it's
think I
gotta be.
still like the Acolyte just for mana efficiency. But he should be able to clear. He will be able to clear next turn with Flame Strike. But you've got Tinker Sharp Sword Oil in hand, and an Eviscerate in hand, and Thalnos in hand.
Yeah, and the rogue has all the damage it needs. It's just got to start putting it together. Although LB does have the second ice block, which will undoubtedly come in handy. Archmage doesn't look like it's doing too much right now because he doesn't have any of those really low spells that you can combo with it. So it looks like it's just going to be a couple of removal turns until he can sort of establish more of a board.
I think right now, he's looking to hopefully get Frost Nova, get some Ice Lances,
Yeah,
get some lower cards in to get Antonitis to make some work. Mad Scientist is actually a pretty good draw, and so is a Loot Hoarder, but you're still
yeah,
going to Flame Strike right now.
absolutely. The scientist would give him the other ice barrier, I believe, which is great against the rogue. They always have to attack face.
Yes. We see Rogue's got a fresh weapon. They have the other Tinker Sharpsword Oil in hand, but they don't have the activator for it. There's no Celsi deckhand for you to drop down right now. You've got a Blade Flurry, 2 Blade Flurries in hand, 2 Saps. Saps aren't really going to play a big part in this matchup.
No,
You're
not unless
going
it's
to
a
Sap
doomsayer.
Alex
But
Straza.
even the rogue doesn't usually have the biggest board to get doomsayered. So
Yeah,
it's pretty much just the Alex.
you know, at that point, Sap almost is just kind of used to be an activator to start a Sharpsword Oil, I think. Huh. Using the Sharpsword Oil on an empty board. I don't like it. I
I
think
think he's just really trying to get that block popped.
Frostbolt is a huge draw for LB right now because he can freeze that rogue's weapon.
Does he have 8 mana or does he have 9?
He has 8.
Okay. If it was
He may
9, the
want to wait.
Antonitis Frostbolt would be great.
Yeah. But he can always. I think you're definitely frostbolting face because it's going to
Mm-hmm.
buy you another turn and another
Yeah.
draw to get deeper. You're looking for Alex Frost Nova, good draw, but you're looking for Alex Straza. Nothing
Hmm.
feels better as a freeze mage than turn 9 dropping Alexstrasza.
Absolutely. You think he's gonna? That was 5. He's got 3 more. Hmm. Loot Hoarder would give him a draw, but the Frostbolt would buy him a turn. I feel like the Frostbolt's the better option here.
Because we can see that there's an Eviscerate sitting in hand.
Yes.
So if they Frostbolt, I mean, he can always use the Blade Flurry and get rid of the weapon
Hmm.
and be able to do the 3 damage from, or 4 damage from there, and then use the Eviscerate to do 8, but he's not popping the block this turn. And it also lets his Acolyte at least draw 1 more card, potentially
Hmm.
2 if he doesn't flurry.
Yeah. Do you think he would want to sap the Acolyte just to deny the easy card draw?
I would think about it very. I don't know how I feel about the Violet Teacher right now. Like, I know you're looking for minions on board to cause damage, but you just saw a Flame Strike. I don't think he knows that there's a second Flame Strike sitting there
Yeah,
waiting for him.
that's true. Oh,
And
but there's the Alex.
there is Alexstrasza.
That's
That could
but
change
he doesn't
things.
have the burn damage in hand. The only
No,
thing
but
well,
behind
he's
it
got the
you have Archmage Antonidas right behind it with
mhm,
Frost Novas.
yeah,
So
Archmage with the other block.
you can sit there and freeze the board all day long.
Hmm.
I'm actually surprised he's using the Frost Nova right now without playing Alexstrasza down. I think you would go Alexstrasza this turn, even if he pops your block. You can
You can
still,
set the other one,
yep, Archmage Antonidas and set the other block.
and then that's pretty much. Although he
But
doesn't have the 2 saps in hand, I don't know. Hmm.
but if even if he saps back Alexstrasza, great.
Hmm.
Alexstrasza
Alex, my
yourself.
face. That's
Yep.
true.
Thank you
That's
very
definitely
much. I
true.
appreciate the boost.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think the Alex would have been most likely the better play because the Rogue would have had to sap it.
Absolutely. So the Eviscerate comes down along with the Blade Flurry. So he's trying to get his board as large as possible.
Hmm.
So he's going to Flurry again to pop the block.
Yes. Which puts him on a clock.
Yes. I mean,
Um,
100% you know you're going
to
to
block this turn.
Yes.
Has
I
he
think,
played the second barrier yet?
not that I've seen. He
Okay.
has 2 Mad Scientists in hand.
Yeah.
So Flame Strike and Ice Block, but then your block's getting popped again. And you don't have any Frost Bolts or Ice Lances in hand right now to freeze the face of the Rogue. So you know your block's getting popped again next turn.
He is definitely lacking that burn damage. Hmm.
And you're going to have to Alexstrasza your own face.
Yeah. But now the Rogue is actually kind of running out of steam. If he doesn't get a sprint for that prep.
But we've also seen both Tinker Sharpsword oils this game, so there's not a
Mhm.
lot of burn left in that Rogue.
Yeah.
So he's going to Alexstrasza himself.
Then Alex gets sapped and he could do it to himself or the opponent. I think he's actually not in a bad spot.
No, but it's never good as a freeze mage. You're not sitting there really comfortable knowing that, okay, both my blocks are already popped.
Hmm.
But I think at this point, it's, Rogue is just going to try to go face. I don't think you can try to play around Alexstrasza. They're not going to sap Alexstrasza because they know what's going to happen if they do.
Yeah.
I think as LB, you're probably
I would Antonidas and freeze.
that. I was going to say, I'm thinking you're Antonidasing freezing. Emperor Thorson's a good idea, but right now you just kind of need to mitigate damage as best as possible.
Hmm.
And Alexstrasza is going to sit there doing 8 per turn. So right now,
Yeah.
Rogue's on a 3-turn clock.
Yeah. He's got 18 this turn. Oh, he is going to sap it. Okay.
Wow. I still think you Antonidas and Frost Nova and just save
Yeah.
Alexstrasza. If you start getting low, you just bring it back up then.
Yeah. So he's going to piece together this burn and then he's still got 15 life at any time from the Alex. I think it's looking pretty good.
And you've got 3 from the Rogue with another 2 with SI, so you're sitting at 9 right now. Your
Okay.
opponent's 26 health, so I
With
think
one card.
Antonitis is definitely killing something right now.
Yes.
Do you kill the
Most
Shredder
likely
and
the
see what it drops?
3/3. I would think you just really want to take that 3 damage off the board. It's sort of risky to go for the Shredder.
Because
Would you Alex yourself this turn, or do you think you would start dealing some damage?
Honestly, right now, I'm thinking to myself, he's got a 3 power weapon. He's got a 4/3 on the board if I kill the SI. So he's got 7 damage right there. What
Yeah.
is the propensity that a rogue in 2 cards has 2 damage? Pretty good. So I'm
Really,
probably
really
dropping
likely.
Alex down this turn.
Yeah.
I mean, the burn train is sitting there in his hand. He's got a pyroblast. He's got 3 fireballs. I mean,
He's just
he
got
is
to find
not
the
in
turn to play
danger
it.
of ending, of not having enough burn. But now he's just got to find a way to make it happen. And he did kill the pilot as Shredder.
I guess he could, fireball the 3/2, fireball the 3/3. You're clearing board and you've still got just as much in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, he put up the ice barrier.
Wow.
That's interesting. I like that.
Now, if he can get him to actually attack face, he's going to really like this. And if Axtius is smart and knows what's going on, they're going to wait until they have the exact damage on board before they hit that ice barrier.
Yeah.
But as
he's sitting with just a prep in hand. That's so brutal.
As we know, there's the fireball train, and Antonitis is sitting there to guide them to all 3 of those minions right across.
Oh, absolutely.
And
If
Alex
Axtius could
Straza's
just
in
draw
hand.
if Axtius could just draw that sprint, he could easily be back in this. He's got 1 eviscerate left, I believe. He's used both tinkers though.
Yes, he has. And there's the Blizzard for
Blizzard's great.
LBYS. At this point, we have that Mad Scientist is basically just a dead card in hand.
Yeah, I feel like Thaurissan sort of is too. Unless you want to play Thaurissan and then fireball Unless you want to fireball the Azure Drake, okay. Yeah,
I think you need to get rid of the Azure Drake. You can't risk having that extra spell damage.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're still facing down 7 damage on board, but you also have the barrier up, so realistically you're sitting at 17 health.
Mm-hmm. Drake's a good draw for Axtius. There's the other eviscerate, which will most likely go right at Thaurissan.
Right now, he can do 8 damage out of hand without... Or actually, he can only do 5, because if he attacks with his face, it's going to trigger the ice barrier. So he would need... He's already used the other eviscerate.
12.
And Tinkers. Ooh.
He could leave him at 5 health.
It kills Thorazon. I like that.
And then he goes
now you've got an 8-cost Alex Straza that can come down and just refill up your health. And if LB is paying attention, he should realize that that card sitting in Rogue's hand is probably a dead card with no meaning right now.
Yeah, it's been there for, 5-6 turns already. Blizzard's great. 5, yeah, drop the Doomsayer
here.
And then just throw a fireball to face.
Yep, start the burn train.
There we go.
You've got 22 damage just in your fireballs and pyroblast, and you've got the arcane intellect to draw. It looks like LB is almost to the end of his deck though, so he might have to worry about not having enough burn.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a possibility.
And there's that sprint.
See, that is what Axtius has been waiting for God, so many turns now.
There's a backstab, a fan of knives, another fan of knives. Uh-oh. And another sprint. Wow.
Yeah, he was just waiting for that one card to get it all going.
And there's Violet Teacher.
But now Axtius is going to be dropping to only a few cards left as well.
There's Lotheb, though, to stop the burn.
Mm-hmm.
And LB, I'm not sure. Right now, he's going to have to draw, I think, off the Arcane Intellect, or he's going to have to use one of his burns to clear some of this damage, because I think you have to drop Alex this turn.
This is such a close game.
So if you're Axtius, next turn, 100% I think Lotheb's coming down.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think there's a question about it.
And it looks like both participants are pretty close to almost the end of their decks. Oh, man. That is the second Ancient Watcher we have seen somebody get off a Shredder that has been absolutely dead.
Such bad luck.
Unless it's Wailing Soul Rogue. Last card in the deck, Wailing Soul.
Hashtag new meta.
This, literally, between both participants right now, could be, Deadly Poison. So, Lotheb to block it out.
Violet Teacher and a Poison.
And Deadly Poison.
And he's building back his board so quickly.
So, you're sitting facing 8 on board. So, you're facing lethal right now.
Yeah.
So, you Alexstrasza yourself. Sprint right now is a dead card for Axtius. That's not being played at all. You'll fatigue yourself. In the last
my gosh.
A preparation.
He doesn't have the damage. Because LB can just Blizzard. Yeah, I don't think he... Wow.
He's going to have to poke him in the face.
9, 10, 11.
Each turn.
Next turn it'll be 14. Oh my goodness.
He might not have enough damage to finish this off. Actually, LB will win this. Alexstrasza and Pyroblast. It's over.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
He gets it out of the way before the Warrior.
That was an insane game.
That literally could have gone either way, and for Axtius to have the 2 last cards in his deck be a Sprint and a preparation. Absolutely devastating.
Oh my gosh.
If those were both...
that was what a good game. Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine if those had been anything else?
If it had been an Eviscerate, a Tinker's, any sort of damage, he would have had it. But it was literally the 2 most useless cards. All right, so LB is up 2-0 over Axtius. Now we're seeing the 3rd game with Axtius's Rogue, and LB is bringing out his final class, which is the Druid.
Which I think Rogue has a pretty good time with Druid, because you have that quick, fast burn that just like Druid has with combo, except you never know when Rogue's going to do theirs. Yeah.
Although LB's got a good start, he's got the Zombie Chows. Axtius does have Defias in his hand.
And he also has the nice, as everybody likes to put it, the big combo of Backstab and SI on turn 3, so one of those Zombie Chows is about to go down.
Yes, that's definitely nice. And it looks like LB's running the ramp-heavy Druid.
Double
with Wars, KTs. But in this matchup, those just get sapped.
And that's... Right now, there's no sap in hand, but we do see a sprint in hand, so if we see a preparation come up in the next couple of turns, usually the ideal time to run a preparation is turn 6. Prep, sprint, turn 6. Why? Because most of Rogue's big damage spells are 2 mana.
2 mana. The Flurry, the Eviscerate. Yeah.
So turn 6, turn 8, times like that is when you really want to do it. That Wild Growth, though, is going to help LB a lot. Because now you've got Belcher, and then you've got Ancient of War. So even if he draws in second sap, he can sap one of them back, and LB's going to place that right back down.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that Belcher's definitely getting sapped. But then I'll just go right into an Ancient of War.
It's going to be really, really sad. Axtius is really going to be sad. Okay, so he decided
he chose to kill it. Good choice.
And LB draws into a Shade. So this may be a hybrid version of the traditional ramp, and as it's classified now as the fast Druid. Because with Shades and Ancient of Wars, it seems like he's trying to mix and match both. I do like the Ancient of Wars, though, just we know it's about to be sapped back, but I still like it for its just huge base right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rogue's
Yeah,
going to have to do some serious work when that comes right back down to pump through that before it can get to face.
definitely.
And little does it know that Ancient of War's brother is sitting in hand also. So you
Ancient
are
of War's brother, Ancient of War.
20 damage you're going to have to pump through both of these before you start seeing face again.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna
I
set
like
the
the
rogue back
force.
quite a bit.
I really like this force by LB right now. Clears the board off, then he can innervate out Keeper of the Grove to kill the last bit
Definitely.
off. I like it.
You can, as a druid, you can sort of afford to take it a little slower, especially this variant when you can, maybe heal up a little bit with your lures, throw up some big taunts, and just stall.
And we saw last game what happens to a rogue when it tries to go too quickly. And now the unfortunate part for a rogue, that turn 7 sprint with no preparation to it. So you're just drawing
Yes.
cards, hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Please, preparation, please.
Did he get that second sap? I don't believe he did. So
No,
this
there is
Ancient
no
of
second
War,
sap.
this Ancient of War is going to be really effective.
And this Ancient of War is just going to stand there with its big smile right across from Rogue. And LB told us that he was a Jaina fan, and I told him that my favorite hero was Valera. And unfortunately,
She's
my
hot and
favorite hero is staring
she's
it
got the
down.
damage.
She's staring at these big walls of men standing across from her right now, and is just wondering,
Oh God, what am I gonna do?
gentlemen, can't you part to let me through, please? But I don't think either of these two are about to bestow any gentlemanly tactics for the rogue.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't seem like Malfurion's much of a gentleman. That's a shame. But
He looks like such a nice guy, though.
I know. I guess that's life.
That big cuddly lion standing right next to him to shapeshift. But we see Rogue drops and does the tinkers, clears out one of the Ancient of Wars, and gets the bad news of, hi, here's the other one. Congratulations, enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos and Double Eviscerate clears out that other Ancient, but then you lose a lot
But
of
then
your
you lose 10 of your burn that you really want to utilize to go face.
But I think when you don't have that other sap in hand, right now you just think to yourself, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he does bring him down.
What's LB's life total? Is that 2?
And now it's 0 because of that blade flurry.
0. Wow.
And that's how quickly the power of Rogue can literally overwhelm you. We thought that because of those 2 big giant bodies of the Ancient Wars that it was going to take a lot for the Rogue to get through. And
you can throw out 2 taunts and it just doesn't even matter.
Rogue just stares you in the face, smiles, and whips its weapon out, and boom, away they go. So now we go into Druid again, and this time for Axtius, they finally get to move on to a different deck, and it looks like it's a Demon Lock.
Okay, fun deck.
Yes, it is. But we saw earlier with Trip, unfortunately, what can happen to a Demon Lock.
Mm-hmm. And the Druid's got the silences that are really effective against the Void Callers.
And actually, I think it was actually in Trip's game earlier. It was Druid against Demon Lock, and the Druid burst him down from 28 health. So
I mean, although this is LB's got definitely a different type of Druid deck, I believe. Was the other one just
the
combo?
other one had 2 Savage Roars and Force of Nature with Emperor Thorazon. Oh, so this, I like that. The anti-Killbot and the Demon Lock.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That's definitely a bit of a meta call, but I think it works nicely.
You bring your life total down with your life tap, 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 tap. Life total drops down, and then boom, bring myself back up. Okay, I'm all right. So we see the double Sunwalker, double Ancient of War,
very taunt heavy.
Belcher. And I'm not sure if this Demon Lock is running any silences. So right now you're facing down two 5 damage, or 5 health, excuse me, 5 health minions, one of which has a nice Divine Shield. So
Just
you've got to
these,
commit a lot of resources to pump through this.
yeah, just these giant walls that he is going to have a real tough time getting through.
As the Demon Lock, what is going with cards in hand that we see now? What do you think you could possibly try to maneuver to get damage through right now?
I mean, ideally, your only board clear options are really Shadow Flame, and do Demon Locks generally one? Is it two? One or two?
Usually it's one Hellfire and one Shadow Flame.
Okay.
There's the Shadow Flame.
Mm.
Little late though.
But it's not gonna do much right now. Looks like we're gonna get Wrath for one, I'm assuming.
I think he's gonna go for the Void Caller.
Yeah.
He's gonna call his bluff, saying you don't have another demon in your hand, and he's gonna find out you are correct.
Wow. Yeah, that's great for LB. I mean, if he'd had Mal'Ganis there, it would have been big game hunter, but Draxus could have been really actually very detrimental for the Druid. That could have really swung the game.
Sylvanas is a great draw for the Demon Lock, though. With all these big, heavy taunts right now, Sylvanas, all it requires is just to run into one of those big taunts, and all of a sudden it comes over to your side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ancient Allure. I like the Ancient Allure, draw some cards.
He still has the Shadow Flame, correct?
Yes, he does.
So Sylvanas Shadow Flame could be really great if, perhaps the other Sunwalker was out. Just it pops the shield and you end up taking a 4/5 and clearing a board.
I think with the amount of damage on board right now, Shadow Flame is very tempting, but you don't have a lot of follow-up behind it. And that's the problem.
You want to be able to clear their board and give yourself something to work with as well.
And ideally, he'd like to get one of his big taunt minions to be able to take one. But I don't... We can see in LB's hand that he has the Keeper of the Grove, so if Sylvanas was going to stay on the board, then it was going to...
Get silenced.
I think that was... nothing. I loved that turn, the Abusive Sergeant, and then being able to steal the Ancient and taunting it up. I think that was a great play by Axtius.
Yeah, and I think Axtius was definitely aware of... I mean, obviously you're playing against a Druid. You're aware they're running 2 Keepers of the Grove. Every single Druid deck does it. So I think he was definitely, all right, get the Sylvanas off the board. Well, I can get some value out of it. Let's try and swing this game. And I think he did a really good job of it. I think that was a great turn.
Absolutely. I think you're going to Keeper the Abusive Sergeant, and you're going to put down your Sen'jin Shieldmaster.
I like that. And then it sets up for a nice swipe in the following turns.
Absolutely. And it's not like LB is hurting for taunts behind it or hurting for bodies behind it, because he's got some big bodies sitting in hand waiting. And then he's got this little tiny gnome with a shotgun just waiting for Dr. Boom or Mal'Ganis to make an appearance, and he's just going to let that little elf with his shotgun come out.
Don't mess with a big game hunter.
The nemesis of Dr. Boom, a gnome with a shotgun.
Yeah, and then that with swipe is going to be really nice. If the boombots don't kill the Keeper, he's going to be able to clear the board.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, you're 100% swiping that Ancient.
Oh, wow. 4 damage on the Keeper. And 4 to face.
And 4 to face.
Holy
crap. Those boombots were unkind.
Wow. Just the straight power of Dr. Boom. It's scary.
That's why we should nerf Dr. Boom. Make it a 6 cost, 6/6, and boombots right on the side. Let's fix it right up. That's what we need to do to fix Dr. Boom.
Yes. Let's make it impervious to Big Game Hunter.
Absolutely. Big Game Hunter needs, less things to do. Big Game Hunter's got a full plate. Kel'Thuzad
He's too busy.
So if LB puts out both Sludge Belchers here, and if they
Mhm.
both can survive this turn, one of them
Or
definitely is not.
at least the 1-2s might be able to
Hmm.
stay up. Then the KT is going to get some sort
Big
of value.
value. Because if he drops, I'm thinking for next turn, I'm thinking Ancient of War or Sunwalker.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean
And
Demon Lock doesn't run Siphon Soul. It doesn't have. I don't think it runs Black Knight. I haven't seen anything with Black Knight. Because honestly, the ramp variant of the Druid has really only recently come back, so you're not teching to prepare for this yet. Oh,
oh
Mal'Ganis.
wow. And you have
That's
4 imps on the board.
that's crazy.
But I think Kel'Thuzad is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting right now. Because I think, barring him drawing another swipe right now, I think Mal'Ganis is coming down next turn to do a lot of work.
He does have 2 draws though. He's got the Wild Growth that he could try and fish for the other swipe, but I don't know how likely it is that he will get it.
And both of his Sludge Belchers with that Shadow Flame just got removed off the board. So
Wow.
Kel'Thuzad right now is not doing anything besides sitting in hand.
That is rough. There's a Savage Roar that's pretty useless right now, I would say. It's not doing too much. Oh, there's
There's
the
the other
swipe.
swipe. Wow.
And he can, yeah, kill off the Argus with his hero power, leave up the 0/1 egg. Wow.
And
That was a great turn.
to steal a line from a famous individual, that draw was huge.
Absolutely. I don't think there was a better way to put that.
So now, as the Demon Lock, you just saw pretty much a nice, easy win for you, swiped off the board. So how do you
Yep.
respond? Oh, there's this, 9/7 that's just going to make me impervious to everything, and I can just sit and tap every turn and draw as many cards as I want.
Oh, Sylvanas. Wow. That's really good.
But what do we also see in the Demon Lock's hand right now? There is a Dark Bomb and there is a Doom Guard.
There is. There is indeed.
And there is also Bane of Mal'Ganis sitting in hand.
Bane of Jaraxxus. I love that card. I'm so glad that Blizzard fixed it and it's seeing some play now because I think it is so much fun.
It is a great card. I mean, you can see Mal'Ganis, you see Jaraxxus, and then for every Mal'Ganis and Jaraxxus you see the Blood Imp.
Yeah, so
And
many
you
other
just
Blood
see
Imp.
that smile on the Warlock's face disappear.
The Blood Imp just wants some love. He's not getting any play since they nerfed him all that time ago in the Zoo decks and
Oh,
poor guy.
When Blood Imp was a glorious 1/2 and was,
Given +1
gave a
health.
permanent bonus of +1 +1 to every creature on
It
your
was
side of the board.
fabulous. Alas, those days are gone. We
Just
are
like
sad.
Leroy as a 4 cost.
Oh man. Unleash the Hounds as a 2.
Oh
Starving
wow.
Buzzard as a 2-drop. Oh man.
And
Buzzard
there's the
Hounds on turn 4
Hellfire.
was
There
the
is a
one.
lot of damage in the Demon Lock's hand right now.
Yeah. And he is impervious because of that Mal'Ganis. There's another Bane of Doom. Oh, let's see what comes out. This could be good.
Oh, you know that is coming down. And
Absolutely.
it's a Flame Imp.
It's a Flame Imp, but
It
because
is
of
a
Mal'Ganis, it's a 5/4.
5/4 Flame Imp that is not hurting your hero for the typical 3 damage of the Flame Imp.
No, that is. I think that's pretty good. A 5 mana card that deals 2 damage and brings out a 5/4. I'll take it any day of the week.
It's a 1 cost Harrison Jones. I like the Sunwalker call here because I'm pretty sure I know what's coming behind that. Unless they play Doomguard here, you're probably seeing Kel'Thuzad come behind that, and he's going to do his best to try to slam that Sunwalker into every minion that comes down.
If he can manage to kill off the Sunwalker on his turn. Oh, but he's gonna
Dark Bomb,
and we're
kill
probably gonna
his
see
imp,
another Bane
and
Doom.
play another Bane. Here comes
Wow.
Mal'Ganis again. Is it?
What's it gonna be? Mistress of Pain.
Mistress.
Respectable. Not the worst.
No, not the worst, but certainly, certainly
Not that
not the greatest.
bad.
So I think you're Keeper and Sylvanas here.
Yes.
And I think you're silencing one of the eggs. Mistress, you're not exactly worried too much about
It's
right
only healing
now.
for
And
one.
there's
There's
Jiraxis.
Jiraxis.
Do you worry about playing Jiraxis right now? If you play Jiraxis, you know you're not going any higher than 15, and you've got a heal bot in hand. But do you want to start cranking out the Infernos and
I
start
think
doing damage with Jiraxis?
if you can start getting the Infernals and start getting a leg up on your opponent, I mean, LB's only got 2 cards in hand.
But little does he know what one of those cards in hand are and
That
what is
is
sitting
true.
on the board for LB right now. The pretty lady to the left.
That is true.
She is about to do a ton of work. Sure, you want to pop your Nerubian out? No problem. Sylvanas will run into everything, and KT's just going to stand behind her and smile.
Absolutely.
Usually
Okay,
the
Druid
saying is behind every good woman or every good man there's a good
there's a
woman.
good
Well, in
woman.
this case, in
Behind
front
every
of
good
every
woman.
good man there is a woman with a red hood on that is about to do loads of work.
Just about to completely Shrek you.
Uh, I don't like that.
7,
Oh, never mind. That's
9.
lethal.
Yeah, that's lethal.
I forgot about the
That's
Savage
15.
Roar in hand.
I like
That's
that.
a good play.
I think I like
Lethal
that.
is always the ideal play.
We will call that a good play.
Absolutely.
All right, well that's actually the end of the set, isn't it? LB just won 3-1, I believe.
Absolutely.
So he's
So-
actually moving on to the semifinals.
Yes, he is, and we actually are going to be cutting over to get ready for the semifinals.
Awesome. Wow, congratulations. I mean, it was a great match. Axtius put up a good fight. Those 2 Bane of Dooms were scary, scary cards. But I guess the luck just wasn't with him today. But great showing by both of them. Definitely.
Absolutely. So we are now on to the semifinals, and let me just pull up really quickly for everyone and go over exactly who we have in our semifinals.
Yes, let's see. I'm
We
excited.
have in one half we have LBYS representing the host team Vicious Syndicate, which
Woo-hoo.
LB we are pulling hard for you. And
No bias, but I mean.
I am
yeah.
100% biased announcer. I am not 100% biased admin, but as an announcer, you darn right I'm rooting for LB.
You better bet I'm biased.
No offense to JTA Monda. JTA Monda gets the unfortunate part of facing LB, and I will be 100% rooting for LB. But of course, casting with no bias at all.
All right, if you're taking LB, I guess I'll take JT's side.
And on the other side, we have the Daddy 1787 against Chalk. Chalk has actually
Chalk.
been here for quite a few weeks playing for us.
Yeah, Chalk's a great player.
Chalk comes and plays just about every week. I mean, I've probably seen Chalk for about the last 5 weeks at least, and that's how long I've been with Tuesday Night Hype is for the last 5 weeks. So Chalk's been here week in and week out, so he definitely is a grizzled veteran to it.
Yes, very skilled. It should be some really good matches.
And we are going to be taking a break really quick right before we start the semifinals, so stay tuned with us for some great semifinal action.